My sister said she wasn't built to be a mom and dumped her 5 kids on my doorstep. I spent the next 15 years doing everything for them. Last week, they pulled their money to give me a brand new G Wagon. My sister just found out. She called me screaming that they're her kids and her reward and is now threatening to sue me if I don't give her the car. I just laughed and hung up. 15 years ago, I was 27 years old, working night shifts in the ER. I just gotten home after losing 2 patients and was about to crash when my doorbell rang at 7 a.m. There's my sister, Diane, with all 5 of her kids standing in the rain. Ages 4, 6, 8, and 10. They're soaking wet, holding garbage bags full of clothes. Diane's got fresh blonde highlights, and she's wearing a new outfit I've never seen. She shoves a crumpled note in my hand and says, "I wasn't built to be a mom. I need to find myself." There's a guy waiting in a red sports car at the curb. Before I can even respond, she's gone. Grace, the oldest at 10, takes my hand and says, "Don't worry, Auntie Alex. I know how to make cereal for everyone." That broke me. I called in sick to work for the first time in 3 years. Spent that night on my bathroom floor at 3 a.m., making lists and silently crying so the kids wouldn't hear. I had a 1-bedroom apartment, 1 bedroom for 6 people. That couple weeks, Diane promised, turned into forever. The first month, she called twice, both times asking me to wire money. By month 3, I heard through a friend she'd moved to California with her musician boyfriend. 6 months in, all 5 kids were calling me mom. I broke my lease and lost my security deposit, finding a 3-bedroom house. My mortgage was brutal. I switched from night shifts to day shifts, losing the premium pay I'd been saving for my own future. I started picking up weekend doubles just to make rent. We shopped at thrift stores. I learned to cut everyone's hair in my kitchen. Birthday cakes were homemade. Christmas gifts came from clearance racks in July. I became an expert at stretching hamburger meat across 5 growing kids. But the money was the easy part. Grace became obsessed with being perfect, terrified I'd leave. 2. The twins developed panic attacks if I was 5 minutes late for pickup. Noah got suspended 3 times for fighting. Zoe wet the bed until she was 7. I learned to braid hair from YouTube. Coached Little League even though I'd never played baseball. Sat through 15 years of parent-teacher conferences, school plays, science fairs, and college applications all alone. And Diane. She sent birthday cards with $10 bills inside. Made promises to visit. That never happened. 0 child support, 0 interest in their lives. Just vague texts on holidays saying she missed them so much. Meanwhile, those 5 traumatized kids grew up. Grace got her master's in education and teaches 3rd grade. Jack's a firefighter. Mia's finishing med school. Noah's an electrician with his own business. Zoe just graduated and works in social media marketing. Last week was my 42nd birthday. I was expecting nothing. Maybe dinner at Applebee's. Instead, all 5 of them showed up at my house at 6 a.m. They walked me outside. There's a brand new Mercedes G Wagon in my driveway. Black, fully loaded, completely paid off. Grace hands me the keys and says, "We all contributed. You gave up your entire life for us. This doesn't come close to paying you back, but it's a start." I ugly cried for an hour in that driveway while all 5 of them hugged me. Yesterday morning, my phone rings. Unknown number. I answer and it's Diane. She's screaming before I can even say hello. "You manipulative bitch. Those are my kids. That's my car. They should be thanking me." Turns out her boyfriend left her 2 months ago and she's broke. She saw the G Wagon on Grace's Instagram and completely lost it. I let her scream for a minute. Then I said, "Where were you when Grace had her first period and was terrified? When the twins got chickenpox at the same time? When Noah broke his arm? When Zoe got bullied so bad she wanted to die? When Jack got accepted to the fire academy? When Mia got her MCAT scores?" She actually said, "I gave them life, Alex." I started laughing. Like really laughing. "No, Diane. You gave them life, and I gave them everything after." She was still screeching when Noah grabbed the phone from me. His voice was shaking. "Diane, stop. Just stop." Then he said something that made my heart stop. "She doesn't know, does she? Mom still doesn't know what we did to make sure you'd never come back." The other 4 kids went completely pale. Grace was frantically shaking her head at him. Noah's eyes were filling with tears. "We need to tell her the truth, all of it. About that night, about why you really left." I looked at the 5 people I'd raised and suddenly realized I didn't know them at all. The phone clattered to the floor. Diane's voice was still coming through the speaker, demanding to know what Noah meant, but I couldn't hear her anymore. The ringing in my ears drowned everything out. Grace stepped forward first. Her hands were shaking. "Noah, what are you doing?" "She deserves to know," he said. His jaw was set in that stubborn way I recognized from 1,000 arguments about curfews and grades. "We can't keep lying to her." Mia grabbed my arm. "Mom, please sit down." Mom. They still called me Mom. Even now, with whatever bomb they were about to drop, I sat on the couch. All 5 of them arranged themselves around the living room like they were kids again, waiting for me to notice they'd broken something. Jack picked up the phone from the floor and hung up on Diane mid-sentence. "Start talking," I said. My voice sounded strange, flat. Grace looked at Noah, then at the others. Something passed between them. Some unspoken agreement they'd clearly had for years. "It was my idea," Grace said quietly. "I was 10. I wasn't stupid. I knew what Diane was." "Don't call her Diane," Zoe whispered. "She's still our biological mom. She stopped being our mom the second she decided we were disposable." Jack said. There was an edge to his voice I'd never heard before. Grace continued. The night before she left us here, she was high. Again. She'd been using for months. Pills mostly. Sometimes other stuff. We knew because she'd leave them out, not even try to hide it. My stomach dropped. You never said anything. We were kids, Mom, Mia said softly. We thought if we were good enough, quiet enough, helpful enough, she'd stop. But it just got worse. Noah stood up, started pacing. That last week, her boyfriend, the one in the red car, he was at our place every night. They'd lock themselves in her bedroom. We could hear them talking about leaving town, starting over. Just the two of them. I listened at the door one night, Grace said. Her voice was steady, but her hands were clenched so tight her knuckles were white. Diane told him she needed to figure out what to do with us first. He said she should just call CPS, let the state deal with it. But she said no, there'd be too many questions, too much paperwork, possible charges for abandonment. That's when I realized she was planning to dump us somewhere, Jack said. Probably drop us at a fire station, or a church. But then she mentioned you, Noah said, looking at me. She told him you were single, lonely, desperate for kids, that you'd probably thank her for the opportunity. The words hit like physical blows. Desperate, lonely. So, we made a plan, Grace said. We started documenting everything. I stole Diane's phone one night while she was passed out and took pictures of all her texts, screenshots of conversations with her dealer, photos of the drugs in her nightstand, videos of her when she was too high to function and we had to make our own dinner. I was 8, Mia said. Grace told me to write down everything I saw. Times Diane left us alone. Times she came home stumbling. Times she forgot to feed us. I kept a notebook under my mattress for 2 months. We knew if we went to CPS ourselves, we'd get split up, Jack explained. Foster care doesn't keep 5 siblings together. Grace did research at the library computer. She printed out statistics and everything. So we decided to make sure Diane wanted to leave, Noah said. We made it easy for her. Made it seem like the perfect solution. I felt sick. What did you do? Grace pulled out her phone. I still have everything. I've kept it all these years, just in case. She scrolled through folders until she found what she was looking for. 3 days before Diane dropped us here, I sent an anonymous tip to CPS from a library computer. I included photos of the drugs, the text with her dealer, everything. I knew it would take them a few days to investigate. I called Diane's dealer pretending to be her, Noah said. Told him if he contacted her again, we'd go to the police. Gave him the names of the undercover cops who'd been watching him. Grace found that information in the newspaper archives. How did you even know how to do all this? I asked. TV shows mostly, Jack said with a shrug. Law and Order. CSI. We were desperate kids trying to save ourselves. Zoe spoke up for the first time. She was crying. I was only 4, but Grace told me what to say if anyone asked. She practiced with me. Made sure I could tell someone if CPS came that Mommy's friend gave her special medicine that made her sleep all day. We sent photos to Diane's boyfriend too, Mia added. Anonymous email showing Diane's drug stash, messages about how she was already getting investigated. Made it look like she was about to get arrested, and he'd be caught up in it. He dumped her that same night, Grace said. We heard them fighting. He said he wasn't going down for her and her bastard kids. But then he came back the next day with that red car, Noah continued. That's when we knew our plan worked. Diane was panicking. She needed to run, and she needed to dump us fast before CPS showed up. We packed our own bags that morning, Jack said. Grace told us exactly what to bring. We were ready when Diane told us we were going on a trip. When we got here, to your apartment and Diane did her whole performance, Grace said, I already knew you'd take us in. I'd been watching you for months before that, following your social media. I knew you worked at the hospital, knew you were single, knew you posted about wanting a family someday. The room was spinning. You manipulated me too. We saved ourselves, Grace said firmly. And yeah, we made sure we ended up with the one person in our family who might actually take care of us. That's not manipulation. That's survival. Diane's boyfriend left her 3 days later, Noah said. We tracked him on social media. He went to California without her. She followed him a week after, but he'd already moved on. And the CPS investigation? I asked. They showed up at Diane's apartment 5 days after she dropped us here, Mia said, but she was already gone. Case was closed as unable to locate. We kept watching her though, Noah admitted. For years. I set up Google alerts for her name, tracked her social media accounts under fake profiles. We needed to know if she was ever coming back. That's insane, I whispered. That's trauma, Jack corrected. We were kids who'd been abandoned. We weren't going to let her surprise us again. Grace's phone buzzed. She glanced at it and her face went hard. Diane's calling me now. She's probably losing it. Don't answer, I said automatically. I won't. We have a group chat, she explained. We've had it since high school. Anytime Diane contacts any of us, we share it immediately. We've documented every interaction for 15 years. Why? I asked. Because we knew this day would come, Noah said. We knew eventually she'd want something. We wanted proof of abandonment. Proof she chose to stay away. Mia pulled up her own phone. Every birthday card with $10. Every Christmas text. Every broken promise to visit. We have it all saved, backed up in 3 different cloud accounts. When we decided to buy you the G Wagon, Jack said, we knew there was a chance Diane would find out. We talked about it. All 5 of us. We decided it was worth the risk. Because you deserved it, Zoe said. She wiped her eyes. You gave us everything. You're our real mom. We wanted you to know that. But we also knew it might bring her back, Grace admitted. So we prepared. Noah, show her. Noah pulled out a folder from his bag. It was thick, stuffed with papers. This is 15 years of documentation. Every text, every call, every email from Diane, every promise she broke, every holiday she missed. Financial records showing she never paid a cent of child support. Records of the welfare fraud. What fraud? I asked. The kids exchanged glances again. We found out 6 years ago, Mia said. Diane's been collecting welfare benefits using our social security numbers, claiming we live with her, getting food stamps, housing assistance, even education credits when we were in school. That's federal fraud, I said. We know, Grace said. We've been gathering evidence ever since. Bank deposits that match the benefit amounts. Records of addresses she claimed we lived at. Photos of her living situations proving we were never there. We have everything ready to go. Ready to go where? I asked. Wherever it needs to go, Noah said. Police, FBI, IRS. And that moment is now, Jack added, because she's threatening you. She's threatening to sue you for a car we bought with our own money. She's claiming rights to kids she abandoned 15 years ago. My phone rang. It was Diane again. I just stared at it. You don't have to answer, Grace said gently. We've got this, Mom. We've always had this. But I picked up anyway. You think you can just steal my children? Diane screamed. They're my kids. I have rights. You have receipts? I asked calmly. Because they have 15 years of receipts showing exactly where you've been and what you've done. I was sick. I was struggling. You don't know what I was going through. You're right, I said. I was too busy raising your children to worry about what you were going through. I'm calling my lawyer. I'm suing for custody. I'm taking that car. I'm taking everything. Good luck with that, I said. Because the second you file anything in court, we're filing fraud charges. Federal fraud charges. For 15 years of welfare benefits you collected fraudulently using their social security numbers. Silence on the other end. That's right, Diane. We know. They know. They've known for years and they've been documenting everything. Every penny you stole from the government claiming these kids lived with you while I was working double shifts to keep them fed. You can't prove anything, she said, but her voice wavered. Actually, we can. Noah called out loudly enough for her to hear. Bank records, benefit statements, address histories, all of it. Want us to send it to the FBI or would you rather we send it to the news? I bet they'd love a story about a mother who abandoned her 5 kids, then committed fraud using their identities for over a decade. The line went dead. Grace stood up and took my phone gently. She'll call back. They always do. But we need to make the first move now. What do you mean? I asked. We file for a restraining order first, she explained. We submit all our evidence to Adult Protective Services since you're legally our guardian. We contact the Welfare Fraud Investigation Unit. We get ahead of whatever she's planning. We've already talked to a lawyer, Jack said. Last year, actually. When we started planning the car thing, we knew it might trigger her. We wanted to be ready. His name is Desmond Torres, Mia added. He specializes in family law and fraud cases. He's reviewed everything we have. He says we have an airtight case. For what? I asked. For terminating her parental rights permanently, Grace said. We're all adults now. We can testify. We have evidence. We can make sure she can never come back and disrupt our lives again. Or your life, Zoe added quietly. I looked at these 5 people I'd raised. Grace, now 25, a teacher who advocated fiercely for her students because she knew what it felt like to need an advocate. Jack, 24, a firefighter who ran into danger to save people because someone had once saved him. The twins, Mia and Noah, 23, one becoming a doctor to heal people and the other building a business with his own hands because he'd learned young that you couldn't count on anyone else to build your future. And Zoe, 21, the baby who'd wet the bed until she was 7 because she was so afraid I'd leave her too. They weren't victims anymore. They were survivors who'd spent 15 years making sure they'd never be powerless again. Okay, I said. What do we do first? Grace smiled. It was the same smile she'd given me that first morning when she promised she knew how to make cereal for everyone. Confident, capable, in control. First, she said, we go see Desmond tomorrow morning. Then we file the restraining order. Then we submit the fraud evidence to the proper authorities. Then we wait for Diane to make her next move. And what do you think her next move will be? I asked. Noah's jaw tightened. She's desperate and broke. She'll try to make herself look like the victim. She'll probably come here, try to cause a scene. Maybe even try to claim we're keeping her from her children. Let her come, Jack said. We've got security cameras now. We've got witnesses. We've got evidence. Let her try. What about the car? I asked. She's claiming she has a right to it. The car's in your name, Mia explained. All 5 of us transferred money directly to the dealership. They cut you the check. It's legally yours. She has no claim to it whatsoever. But she could sue anyway, I said. She could, Grace agreed, but she won't win. And the moment she files, we countersue for the fraud. Plus, we've already talked to the dealership. They're willing to provide documentation showing all 5 of us as buyers who gifted it to you. It's ironclad. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. This isn't over. Those kids are mine. That car is mine. You'll regret keeping me from my family. I showed it to the kids. Screenshot it, Grace said immediately. Send it to all of us. Add it to the evidence file. Noah was already typing on his phone. Sent it to Desmond too. That's a threat. Could be grounds for harassment. She's spiraling, Mia observed. This is good for us. The more unhinged she acts, the stronger our case becomes. That feels wrong, I said. She's still your mother. No, Zoe said firmly. You're our mother. Diane's just the woman who gave birth to us, then threw us away when we became inconvenient. Another text came through. Then another. Then 5 more in rapid succession. You poisoned my kids against me. I was sick and you took advantage. I'm calling the police. You're a kidnapper. I'm coming over right now. You'll be sorry. Should I actually call the police? I asked. Grace nodded. Non-emergency line. Tell them you're receiving threatening messages from your sister, and you're concerned she might show up at your house. Get it on record. I made the call. The dispatcher was calm and professional. She took down all the information and said an officer would drive by periodically for the next few hours. Smart, Noah said when I hung up. Now when she does show up, there's already a record of her threatening behavior. You really think she'll come here? I asked. I'd bet money on it, Jack said. She's not thinking straight. She's desperate. She probably thinks she can intimidate you into giving her the car or money or something. He was right. 2 hours later, at almost 9 at night, someone started pounding on my door. Alex, open this door right now. Diane's voice was shrill. I want to see my kids. I looked at Grace. She had her phone out, recording. Don't open it, she said quietly. Let her make a scene. You can't keep me from my own children, Diane screamed. I'm their mother. Alex, I swear to God if you don't open this door. Jack was on the phone with the police. Noah had moved to the window to record from a different angle. Mia was documenting everything in a notes app, with timestamps. This is my house, Diane yelled. My kids paid for this house. We didn't, Zoe whispered to me. That's a lie. I know, baby, I said. The pounding continued. You stole my life. You stole my kids. You turned them against me. Neighbors started coming out. I could see Mrs. Patterson from next door recording on her phone. The Johnsons across the street were watching from their window. You're a manipulative bitch, Alex. You always wanted what I had. You were jealous of me your whole life. That almost made me laugh. Jealous of an addict who abandoned her kids. I'm calling the news, Diane shrieked. I'm telling everyone how you kidnapped my children. Keep recording, Grace said to Noah. Every word. Police sirens in the distance. Diane must have heard them too because the pounding stopped. This isn't over, she yelled. You haven't seen the last of me. 2 police cars pulled up. Officers got out and approached Diane, who immediately switched tactics. Suddenly she was crying, playing the victim, telling them her sister had stolen her children and turned them against her. One of the officers came to the door. I opened it. Ma'am, I'm Officer Bryant. Are you Alex? Yes. And these are the children in question? He looked at Grace, Jack, Noah, Mia, and Zoe. We're all adults, Grace said clearly. I'm 25, Jack's 24, Mia and Noah are 23, Zoe's 21. That woman is our biological mother who abandoned us 15 years ago when I was 10. Alex has been our legal guardian since then. Officer Bryant's expression shifted. Do you have documentation of that? Grace already had her phone ready. I have the original note our mother left when she dropped us off. I have 15 years of school records listing Alex as our guardian. I have tax returns showing Alex claimed us as dependents every year. I have medical records with Alex listed as our emergency contact. Do you want me to send all of that to you right now? The officer looked impressed. That won't be necessary at the moment. Do any of you want contact with your biological mother? No, all 5 said in unison. She's been threatening us and our guardian, Noah added. We have screenshots of messages threatening to come here and cause problems. We were actually planning to file for a restraining order tomorrow morning. Officer Bryant nodded. I'm going to talk to her and suggest she leave. If she returns or continues to threaten you, call us immediately and we'll file charges for harassment and trespassing. We watched through the window as he spoke to Diane. She was crying harder now, making grand gestures, probably spinning some story about being a victim. The officer wasn't buying it. After a few minutes, he escorted her to her car and watched as she drove away. He came back to the door. She's been told to stay away. If she returns, it's trespassing and we'll arrest her. I'd recommend you all file for that restraining order tomorrow like you planned. After he left, I sat down heavily on the couch. This is really happening. Yeah, Grace said, but we're ready for it. We've been ready for 15 years. That night, none of us slept much. We sat in my living room, going through everything they'd collected over the years. The evidence was staggering. Grace had kept the original note Diane left. It was crumpled and water-stained, but the words were clear. I wasn't built to be a mom. I need to find myself. There were photos of all 5 kids on that first day, soaking wet in my doorway. I didn't even remember Grace taking those, but she'd used my old digital camera when I was in the bathroom crying. Bank statements showing Diane depositing welfare checks. Records of addresses she'd claimed the kids lived at, all of them places I'd never been. Documentation that I'd been paying for everything while she collected benefits meant for their care. Medical records showing I'd taken them to every appointment, every emergency, every checkup for 15 years while Diane was listed as non-custodial parent. Whereabouts unknown. School records with my signature on every form. My name listed as guardian. My phone number for every emergency contact. How did you get all of this? I asked. Freedom of Information Act requests, Mia explained. Once we turned 18, we could request our own records. We got everything. School files, medical files, social services records, all of it. And the welfare fraud evidence? I asked. Noah pulled out another folder. This took longer. We had to file requests with multiple agencies, food stamp records, housing assistance records. We cross-referenced the dates and amounts with bank deposits to Diane's account. It took us 3 years to compile everything. 3 years? I repeated. We started when we were in college, Jack explained. Grace was in her senior year. She did it as part of an independent study project on welfare fraud. Her professor helped her understand how to document everything properly. We knew we needed it to be legitimate, Grace added. We couldn't just have suspicions. We needed proof that would hold up in court. So, I learned how to build a case. And you never told me, I said. We didn't want to worry you, Zoe said. You were working so hard, making sure we all had what we needed. We wanted to handle this ourselves. Plus, we weren't sure if we'd ever need it, Mia added. We hoped Diane would just stay away forever, but we wanted to be prepared if she didn't. I looked at the folders spread across my coffee table. Years of work, years of preparation, years of these kids making sure they'd never be vulnerable again. I don't know whether to be proud or terrified, I admitted. Both is good, Grace said with a small smile. We're kind of terrified too. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Diane. You'll pay for turning my kids against me. I'll make sure everyone knows what you did. What I did? I said out loud. I raised them. I kept them alive. I gave them a home. She's going to try to spin a narrative, Noah predicted. She'll probably go on social media, try to get sympathy, play the abandoned mother card. Let her, Jack said. We've got evidence. She's got lies. Evidence wins. He was wrong about the timeline, though. Diane didn't wait to go on social media. She did it that night. By morning, there was a long Facebook post from her account. It was a masterpiece of manipulation. My heart is breaking tonight. 15 years ago, I made the hardest decision of my life. I was sick, struggling with addiction, and I knew my kids deserved better. So I made a temporary arrangement with my sister Alex for them to stay with her while I got help. I went to rehab. I got clean. I got my life together. But when I reached out to bring my kids home, Alex refused. She'd gotten attached and didn't want to let them go. I've spent 15 years trying to reconnect with my children, only to be blocked at every turn. Now they're adults and they've bought Alex an expensive car with money that should have gone toward their own futures. When I tried to talk to them about it, Alex called the police on me. I'm devastated. I just want my kids to know I love them, and I never stopped fighting for them. The post had been shared 47 times already. Comments were pouring in. Praying for you, Mama. CPS is so corrupt, they always side with the system. Keep fighting for your babies. This is heartbreaking. Grace read it over my shoulder and laughed. Actually laughed. This is perfect. Perfect? I asked. She's lying about everything. Exactly, Grace said. Which means we can prove she's lying about everything. Noah, start pulling timestamps. Noah was already at his laptop. On it. Cross-referencing her claim of going to rehab with her social media posts from that time period. Mia, pull medical records showing none of us were ever treated for issues related to her addiction. Grace directed. Got it, Mia said. Jack, find the financial records showing she never paid for rehab or any recovery program. Already searching, Jack confirmed. Zoe, screenshot the post and all the comments, then document exactly which claims are false and what evidence we have to disprove them. Zoe nodded and started typing. I just watched them work. They moved like a unit, each person knowing exactly what to do. They'd done this before. Maybe not this specifically, but they'd clearly prepared for something like this. Within an hour, they had a comprehensive response ready. Grace looked at me. Do you want to post this, or should I? What is it? I asked. She showed me. It was a point-by-point refutation of everything Diane had claimed, with receipts. Claim, Diane went to rehab 15 years ago. Reality, social media posts show Diane in California, partying during the time she claims she was in treatment. Photos attached. Claim, Diane tried to reconnect with us. Reality, phone records show Diane called twice in the first month, both times asking for money, then went 3 years without contact. Records attached. Claim, Alex refused to let us go home. Reality, there was no home to go to. Diane had been evicted. Documentation attached. Claim, Diane has been fighting for us for 15 years. Reality, Diane never paid child support, never filed for custody, never even asked about our welfare, beyond occasional texts on holidays. Documentation attached. And then the kicker. Additional reality. Diane has been collecting welfare benefits using our social security numbers, while Alex was actually raising and supporting us. This is federal fraud. We have reported this to the proper authorities. Documentation has been submitted to the FBI Welfare Fraud Division. You reported her? I asked. This morning, Noah said. While you were in the shower. Sent everything we had. Got a case number and everything. We figured she was going to escalate, Grace explained. So we escalated first. Now she can try to play victim all she wants, but she's doing it while under federal investigation. Is this really necessary? I asked. I mean, she's your mother. She's a criminal, Jack said bluntly. She stole government money meant to help struggling families. She stole our identities. She's committed fraud for over a decade. Yes, it's necessary. And, Mia added gently, she's trying to destroy your reputation. She's claiming you're a kidnapper. She's telling people you manipulated us. She's lying about everything. We're not going to let her do that to you. Grace posted the response. Within minutes, the comments on Diane's original post shifted. Wait, she was committing fraud? Those kids are all adults now. Why is she pretending they're babies? This doesn't add up. If she really wanted them back, why didn't she ever file for custody? Diane's friends started defending her, but they didn't have evidence. Just feelings and assumptions. We had documents, photos, official records. The tide turned fast. By noon, Diane's post had been shared to a local news station's Facebook page. A reporter commented asking if Diane would be willing to be interviewed. She's going to do it, Noah predicted. She can't help herself. She'll think she can charm them. He was right. That afternoon, Diane posted that she'd agreed to an interview with Channel 7 News. She'd be telling her side of the story that evening. Should we contact the station? I asked. Grace shook her head. Let her talk. Let her lie on camera. Then we'll respond with evidence. We all gathered in my living room that evening to watch. Diane had clearly prepared. She was wearing a conservative dress, minimal makeup, hair pulled back. She looked like a concerned mother, not a woman who'd been screaming on my doorstep the night before. The interviewer started soft. Thank you for talking with us, Diane. This is clearly a difficult situation. It is, Diane said, her voice breaking. I made mistakes 15 years ago. I was struggling with addiction. I was in a bad place. I made the devastating decision to temporarily place my children with my sister while I got help. Lie number 1. And after you got help? The interviewer asked. I tried to reconnect, but my sister had grown attached to them. She made it difficult for me to see them. Eventually, she just cut me off completely. Lie number 2. These are now adult children, correct? Yes, but they were children when Alex took them from me. She's had 15 years to poison them against me. Lie number 3. And what prompted you to come forward now? My children just bought Alex an expensive car, a Mercedes G Wagon. And when I tried to have a conversation about it, about how that money could have gone toward their futures, their student loans, their own savings, Alex called the police on me. Lie number 4. We had no student loans. We'd all worked and gotten scholarships, and I'd helped where I could. The interviewer looked sympathetic. That must be very painful for you. It is. I just want my children to know I love them, that I never stopped loving them, that I'm sorry for my mistakes, but I've changed and I want a relationship with them. The interviewer turned to the camera. We reached out to Alex for comment but haven't heard back. This is clearly a complex family situation. Diane, thank you for sharing your story. As soon as it ended, my phone started ringing. Friends, coworkers, people I hadn't talked to in years, all asking if what they saw was true. Grace's phone rang. It was Desmond, the lawyer. She put it on speaker. Did you see it? We all did, Grace said. Good. Don't respond tonight. Let it sit. Let her think she won. Tomorrow morning, we'll release our statement with all the evidence. Trust me, this is going to work in our favor. That night was brutal. Social media was flooded with opinions. Half the people thought Diane was a grieving mother being kept from her kids. The other half thought something didn't add up. I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Diane on that TV screen, playing the victim so convincingly. But Grace was calm. Mom, go to sleep. We've got this. How are you so sure? I asked. Because we have something she doesn't, Grace said simply. The truth. The next morning, Desmond held a press conference. All 5 kids were there, standing behind him in a united front. I stayed home, watching on my laptop. Desmond was professional and direct. My clients, Grace, Jack, Mia, Noah, and Zoe, have asked me to make a statement regarding the recent news coverage of their biological mother, Diane. He laid it all out. The abandonment, the note, the lack of contact, the years of Alex raising them alone, the welfare fraud. Then Grace stepped forward. I want to be very clear. We were not kidnapped. We were not stolen. We were abandoned by a woman who chose drugs and boyfriends over her own children. Alex didn't take us. She saved us. Jack went next. For 15 years, Alex worked multiple jobs to keep us fed, clothed, and housed. She learned to cut hair so we wouldn't look poor at school. She made birthday cakes from scratch because she couldn't afford bakery cakes. She gave up her entire life for us. Mia spoke through tears. When I was 8, I wrote in a diary about how scared I was that Diane would come back and take us away from the only stable home we'd ever known. Alex found that diary when I was in high school. She cried and promised me we were safe. That's a real mother. Noah's voice was steady and hard. Diane claims she went to rehab. We have proof she was in California posting photos at bars and clubs. She claims she tried to reach us. We have phone records showing 2 calls in 15 years, both asking for money. She claims Alex blocked her. Alex's door was always open. Diane just never walked through it. Zoe finished. We bought that car for our mom. Our real mom. The woman who earned that title through 15 years of sacrifice. Diane gave birth to us. That's biology. Alex raised us. That's love. Then Desmond dropped the bomb. Additionally, We have submitted evidence to federal authorities that Diane has been collecting welfare benefits using these children's social security numbers while they were actually being supported by Alex. This is a crime. We have documentation spanning more than a decade. He distributed packets to the reporters. Copies of everything. The note, the bank records, the benefit fraud, the lack of child support, all of it. The questions came fast. Does Alex plan to press charges? Does Diane know about the fraud investigation? How much money are we talking about? Desmond handled them all calmly. Alex's only concern is protecting these 5 people who she raised as her own. As for Diane, she'll have to answer to federal authorities regarding the fraud allegations. We estimate the total fraudulent benefits at approximately $180,000 over the course of 15 years. The number made people gasp. My phone started ringing again, but this time the messages were different. I'm so sorry. I believed her story. You're an amazing person for what you did for those kids. Diane should be ashamed of herself. Channel 7 ran a follow-up that evening. The same reporter who'd interviewed Diane now looked uncomfortable. We've received substantial documentation contradicting the story Diane shared with us yesterday. We reached out to Diane for comment on these new allegations but have not heard back. Diane's Facebook post had been deleted. Her entire account had been deleted. She's running, Noah said. Classic move. Where would she go? I asked. Doesn't matter, Jack said. The FBI has her information. She can run, but it won't help. 2 days later, a lawyer called me. His name was Preston Hayes and he represented Diane. My client would like to arrange a meeting, he said, to discuss a resolution to this situation. What kind of resolution? I asked. Desmond was on the line too. My client acknowledges that mistakes were made on both sides. Stop, Desmond interrupted. There were no mistakes on Alex's side. Alex took in 5 abandoned children and raised them alone for 15 years. Let's start with that reality. Preston cleared his throat. My client is willing to relinquish any claims to the vehicle in question in exchange for the family agreeing not to pursue the fraud charges. No, Grace said. She'd been listening on speaker. We're not negotiating. The car was never hers to claim. That's not a bargaining chip. My client is also willing to formally terminate her parental rights, Preston continued. They're all adults, Desmond pointed out. She has no parental rights to terminate. Then what does Diane want? I asked. Money, Preston said bluntly. She believes she's entitled to compensation for pain and suffering caused by being separated from her children. The audacity was stunning. She wants us to pay her? I asked. For abandoning her own kids? She views the situation differently. I'm sure she does, Desmond said dryly. Here's our counteroffer. Diane stays away from this family permanently. No contact, no social media posts, no interviews, nothing. In exchange, we won't pursue civil damages for the emotional distress her abandonment caused these children. The fraud charges are federal. We can't make those go away. Those are between Diane and the FBI. That's not acceptable, Preston said. Then we'll see you in court, Desmond replied and hung up. That's it? I asked. That's it, Desmond confirmed. She's got no leverage, no case, no moral high ground. She's desperate and her lawyer knows it. The FBI investigation moved slowly. We didn't hear anything for weeks. Life started to return to normal. Then one morning, there was a news alert. Local woman arrested on federal welfare fraud charges. Diane's mugshot was all over the news. She'd been arrested at a friend's house 2 towns over. The charges were extensive. Fraud, identity theft, making false statements to government agencies. The bail was set at $50,000. She couldn't make it. From jail, she had Preston file a motion claiming she was being persecuted by her own children, that we'd manufactured evidence, that this was all a vendetta. The judge read through our documentation and denied the motion in less than a day. Diane sat in jail for 3 weeks before her public defender convinced her to take a plea deal. Guilty plea on multiple fraud counts, restitution of $180,000, 5 years probation, 500 hours community service, and one more condition, a court order prohibiting her from contacting any of us for 5 years. The day the plea deal was finalized, we all went out to dinner. Grace drove us in the G Wagon. To Mom, she said, raising her glass, who saved 5 kids and asked for nothing in return. To Mom, the others echoed. I cried. Again. But this time they were different tears. I have something to tell you all, I said when I'd composed myself. I've been thinking about what you said, about how you planned everything that day Diane left you with me. They went quiet. I'm not mad, I continued. I was at first. But then I realized something. You were kids trying to survive. You did what you had to do. And honestly, I'm grateful. Because the last 15 years, raising you 5, that's been the best thing that ever happened to me. Really? Zoe asked quietly. Really, I confirmed. I didn't know I needed you until I had you. And yeah, maybe it started with you manipulating the situation. But what came after? That was real. That was love. That was family. We love you too, Mom, Grace said. And for what it's worth, we stopped thinking of it as manipulation pretty early on. By the time I was 12, I wasn't thinking about the plan anymore. I was just thinking about how lucky we were that we ended up with you. Lucky? I repeated. You all worked 3 times as hard as normal kids just to feel safe. And we did feel safe, Jack said. Because of you. What happens now? Mia asked. With Diane, I mean. Nothing, Desmond had advised us. She's on probation. She's been court-ordered to stay away. She owes $180,000 in restitution that she'll probably never fully pay. Her fraud conviction is on her record permanently. She's effectively out of your lives. Do you think she'll try to come back when the probation's over? Noah asked. Maybe, I said honestly. But if she does, we'll be ready. We've always been ready. That night, driving home in the G Wagon with all 5 of my kids laughing and talking in the car, I realized something. Diane thought she'd won when she walked away 15 years ago. She thought she'd dumped her problems on me and gotten free. But she'd actually given me the greatest gift of my life, and we'd just made sure she could never take it back. 3 months later, I got a letter from Diane. It was forwarded through her lawyer since she couldn't contact us directly. Dear Alex, it read, I know I can't undo the past. I know I hurt my children in ways that can't be fixed. But I want you to know that I'm trying to get better. I'm in counseling. I'm working on my sobriety. I'm trying to become someone my kids could be proud of someday. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I wanted you to know that I see now what I gave up. And I'm sorry. Tell them I'm sorry. I showed the letter to the kids. Do you want to respond? I asked. They looked at each other. That silent communication they'd developed over years of being a unit. No, Grace finally said. Some things don't need a response. I put the letter in the folder with all the other documentation. Just in case. Because that's what we'd learned. Hope for the best. But always prepare for the worst. And in our case, the best was a family that chose each other, fought for each other, and would never let anyone tear us apart again. Not even the woman who'd given birth to them. The end. Or so I thought. Because 6 months after that letter, my doorbell rang early on a Saturday morning. I opened it to find a man I'd never seen before standing on my porch with a little girl, maybe 3 years old, holding his hand. Are you Alex? He asked. Yes, I'm Cameron. I was Diane's boyfriend. In California. A while back. My stomach dropped. This is Lily, he continued, looking down at the little girl. She's Diane's daughter. Our daughter. The little girl had Diane's eyes. There was no mistaking it. I didn't know what else to do, Cameron said. His voice was shaking. Diane left us 6 months ago. Just didn't come home one day. I've been trying to find her, but nobody knows where she is. I found your address in some old papers of hers. I thought maybe you'd know where she went. I don't, I said honestly. We're not in contact. Right, he said. I heard about the fraud case. The thing with her other kids. How can I help you? I asked, though I was pretty sure I knew where this was going. I can't take care of Lily anymore, he said. I lost my job. I'm about to lose my apartment. I don't have family. I thought, since you took in Diane's other kids, maybe. And there it was. I looked down at Lily. She was clutching a stuffed rabbit and staring at me with those familiar eyes. Please, Cameron said. I know it's a lot to ask. I know you don't owe us anything. But she's just a little kid, and she deserves better than what I can give her right now. I should have said no. I should have called child services. I should have closed the door and walked away. But instead, I heard myself say, come inside. Let's talk. Because apparently, I'd learned nothing. Or maybe I'd learned exactly what mattered. Grace's car pulled up 30 minutes later. She walked in, saw Cameron and Lily, and her eyes went wide. Mom, she said slowly, please tell me this isn't what I think it is. Grace, I said. Meet your half-sister, Lily. Grace looked at me, then at Lily, then back at me. You're not seriously considering this. I'm considering it, I admitted. Grace pulled me into the kitchen. Mom, you just got your life back. We're all adults now. You can finally live for yourself. You can't take in another one of Diane's kids. She's 3 years old, Grace. She didn't ask for any of this. Neither did you. Neither did you 5, I countered. But I'm glad I said yes that day. Grace's expression softened. Mom, this isn't the same. Diane's not coming back this time. She's on probation. She's got a record. This little girl would be with you permanently. I know. Do you? Do you really understand what you'd be signing up for? You're 42. By the time this kid graduates high school, you'll be almost 60. I know the math, Grace. She sat down at the kitchen table. Of course you're going to say yes. Because you're you. Because you can't turn away a kid who needs help. God, you're so predictable. Is that a bad thing? I asked. No, she said quietly. It's the best thing about you. It's also the most frustrating thing about you. We went back into the living room. Lily was showing her rabbit to Cameron and explaining very seriously that his name was Mr. Hops and he only ate special rabbit food. Okay, I said to Cameron. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to give me all of Lily's paperwork. Birth certificate, medical records, everything. You're going to sign temporary guardianship papers that my lawyer will draw up. And you're going to give me the truth about why Diane really left. Cameron looked relieved and terrified at the same time. She found out about another guy. Someone with money. She said she was done playing house with a broke mechanic and a kid who wasn't even planned. Of course she did. Over the next week, Desmond worked his magic. Cameron signed everything. Full custody to me. He even agreed to terminate his parental rights to make it easier. I'm not father material, he admitted. I tried. For 2 years I really tried. But I can't do it. Not alone. And Lily deserves someone who can. The other 4 kids had mixed reactions. Jack was angry. She's doing it again. Diane's winning again. Mia was worried. Mom, you don't have to save every kid Diane abandons. Noah was pragmatic. If you're doing this, we're helping, financially and otherwise. You're not doing this alone. Zoe cried. That little girl's going to grow up thinking she's unwanted, just like we did. I can't let that happen. But Grace surprised me. After everyone else left that first night with Lily in my house, Grace stayed behind. I did some research, she said, pulling out her laptop. Lily's probably going to have attachment issues. Cameron said Diane was high functioning for the first year, then got progressively worse. That kind of inconsistent parenting messes kids up. I know, I said. I found some articles on trauma-informed parenting, downloaded some books, made you a reading list. I stared at her. You're helping me? Of course I'm helping you, Grace said. You're my mom, and Lily's my sister. That's what family does. I thought you were mad. I am mad. At Diane for doing this again. At Cameron for not trying harder. At the universe for dumping another kid in your lap. But I'm not mad at you for being exactly who you've always been. The person who shows up when kids need someone. She pulled out a folder. I already called my therapist. Got a referral to a child psychologist who specializes in early childhood trauma. Made an appointment for next week. Also researched daycares. Found 3 that have openings for 3-year-olds and use trauma-informed approaches. Grace, I said, my voice breaking. Also, she continued, we're setting up a trust fund. All 5 of us are contributing. For Lily's future. College. Whatever she needs. She's not going to grow up feeling like she's a burden. You don't have to do that. We know we don't have to. We want to. Because that's what you taught us. Family takes care of family. The first month with Lily was hard. She had night terrors. She hoarded food in her bedroom. She cried whenever I left her sight. But slowly, she started to trust. Zoe came over every Tuesday to play with her. Mia took her to the park every Saturday. Jack taught her to ride a tricycle. Noah built her a dollhouse from scratch. Grace read to her every night over video chat when she couldn't be there in person. She stopped hoarding food after she realized meals happened every day, consistently, without fail. She stopped having night terrors after I started sleeping in a chair in her room until she fell asleep. She started laughing, playing, being a normal 3-year-old kid. 6 months in, she called me Mama for the first time. I was making her breakfast when she said it, casual as anything. Mama, can I have juice? I froze, turned around. What did you call me? Mama, she repeated, looking confused. Is that wrong? No, baby, I said, picking her up and holding her tight. That's exactly right. Grace was right. By the time Lily graduates high school, I'll be almost 60. I'll probably be the oldest parent at her graduation, but I'll also be there. Unlike Diane, who's currently living in Nevada with yet another boyfriend, working as a waitress and pretending she never had 6 kids, Cameron sends child support when he can. Usually it's $100 or $200 a month. I put it all in Lily's savings account. The court-ordered no contact period with Diane ended last year. She never reached out. I'm not surprised.